Alan Wake.
Me up inside.
You play as Alan Wake, an American crime fiction author who's been going through 2 years of writer's block. The game begins as a car drives down a twisting mountain road. Suddenly, a man appears out of the shadow and the car plows into him. Alan steps out of the car to find the man has vanished.
What happened?
Searching for the man, you are attacked by shadowy figures, and the only way to defeat them is to shine your torch at them. Alan makes his way to the lighthouse, tailed by the shadowy enemies.
Suddenly, Alan wakes up in his car. It was all a nightmare. His wife Alice is next to him, comforting him.
I'm gay.
The pair are driving to Bright Falls, Washington, for a small vacation. Upon arriving in Bright Falls, Alan heads to a nearby diner to pick up the keys and map for the cabin he's rented from Carl Stuckey. However, Carl is indisposed in the bathroom.
He's stuck in there.
Alan knocks on the door, and a mysterious woman named Barbara appears beside him. The woman says that Carl couldn't make it and left her with the keys and the map for Alan. As Alan and Alice drive away from the diner, a flustered Carl emerges, brandishing the keys and the map.
Oh no, wait, come back! Upon arriving at the cabin in the middle of the lake, Alice reveals that the real reason for the vacation was to help with Alan's writer's block. She also wants him to meet with a psychologist, Dr. Emil Hartman. Alan loses his cool and storms out of the cabin. Why? Like, imagine your partner being like, hey, I know you've been really struggling for 2 years. I'm gonna try and help you.
Fuck off. As Alan regrets his tantrum,
As he should.
the generator goes out and Alice screams. Alice has fallen into the lake behind the cabin, and Alan dives in after her. Alan wakes up inside a crashed car on the side of the road.
Why do we keep doing games where people keep passing out?
I mean, if I ever want to go somewhere, I just black out. I'll eventually end up in the hospital, which is pretty close to my house.
I haven't driven in years.
Alan makes his way through the woods as more shadowy figures appear and hunt him. While running through the woods, Alan finds pages of a manuscript to a book titled Departure, the book that Alan was going to write next. The manuscript seems to have been written by Alan, and all of the events the manuscript described start coming true. He realizes that the shadowy figures he's been seeing are actually possessed townsfolk. Alan runs through the woods to a gas station.
The Bright Falls Sheriff, Sarah Breaker, appears at the station. Alan explains his wife is missing after falling in the water behind their cabin.
I swear, she just tripped. It was a slippery step.
Sarah reveals that the cabin in the middle of the lake sank many years ago due to volcanic activity. She then takes Alan back to the police station. Along the way, Alan has a flashback of himself and Alice in their apartment as the power goes out. Alice is afraid of the dark, and Alan tries to comfort her. Alan tells her a childhood memory that he was terrified of the dark as well when he was a child. His mother gave him an old broken light, which she called the clicker. She told Alan that pressing it would ward off anything in the darkness. Alan still has the clicker and gives it to Alice to make her feel safe.
I'm pretty sure his family was just poor.
I know you're scared of the dark, but instead of leaving the light on, I'm gonna disable it forever and give you the switch.
Don't gnaw on the copper wiring. Back in the present now, and at the station, Alan meets a few more locals, including a rather eccentric woman who seems to be obsessed with ensuring the lights in the town work. The woman's name is Cynthia Weaver.
The bulbs will need changing soon, you can't...
And at one point, she was the editor for the town newspaper until she snapped. Alan receives an anonymous call. The caller states they have kidnapped Alice, and to prove it, they left her license behind the police station. Alan receives a call from his agent, Barry. Barry tells Alan that he's been missing in action for a week. Barry has traveled to Bright Falls and wants some answers.
Just as Alan is about to leave the station, he bumps into Dr. Emil Hartman, the psychologist Alan was supposed to meet. Hartman invites Alan to stay with him and explains he is the one who invited Alice to Bright Falls. Alan socks Dr. Hartman in the chin as Barry enters to defuse the situation.
Man, this dude's whole entire personality is just like, you said something that I don't like. I'm gonna punch something, I'm gonna storm out of the house. He's a child. Alan leaves Barry and heads off to meet the kidnapper at Lover's Peak. Ooh, sexy. Maybe we should kiss. Alan battles more shadowy monsters along the way and meets with the kidnapper. The kidnapper wants the manuscript and complete editorial control. After that, he'll release Alice. Alan socks him in the jaw and the two tumble down a hill. He's not a very good negotiator. Alan and the kidnapper are separated, so Alan makes his way back to Barry's cabin. Arriving there, the cabin is attacked by shadow birds, which Alan fends off. Barry is now convinced by Alan's wacky story.
Freaking out, man.
Barry receives a call from the local diner waitress, Rose, who has found more of Alan's pages. The camera pans to reveal the mysterious woman from the diner, Barbara, is controlling Rose. Alan and Barry meet up with Rose at her trailer park.
Hello, boys.
They have some coffee and promptly pass out.
This is really very.
An ethereal voice from the light warns Alan that the darkness he's been fighting is hiding in Barbara. I mean, all the evil's hiding in women, isn't it?
I'll tell you what.
Alan wakes up back in the trailer. Barry is still knocked out and Rose is shell-shocked. The trailer park owner has called the cops, concerned for Rose. As she should be, she's possessed.
The cops roll up with the FBI in tow. One FBI agent, Robert Nightingale, seems especially interested in Alan, and as he makes a run for it, the cops open fire. Alan manages to escape and goes into hiding. The kidnapper reaches out to Alan again and wants to meet up at the coal mine. After waiting for the entire day, the kidnapper calls again to meet up at Mirror Peak. Finding more shadow foes, the kidnapper reveals he never actually kidnapped Alice.
You triggered my trap card!
A tornado of darkness appears and lifts Alan and the kidnapper, throwing them into Cauldron Lake.
Alan wakes the next day in the mental health lodge, run by Dr. Hartman. Dr. Hartman explains that Alan has PTSD from his wife drowning in the lake, and everything Alan is experiencing is a psychotic break in his mind.
You're fucking Looney Tunes. Get your shit together.
Alan also stumbles upon two older brothers who tell him to escape and find a message they left for him on their farm. Snooping around the lodge, Alan finds a picture of Hartman and the kidnapper, as well as recordings of himself and Alice. What's on the recordings of himself and Alice? Hartman hired the kidnapper to get control over Alan's manuscript. Alan confronts Hartman and pulls a gun on him. The darkness descends on the lodge and consumes Hartman. Alan and Barry escape the lodge and drive away.
Alan starts to learn about a man named Thomas Zane. Zane was a famous poet who came to the town and discovered the secret of the lake. An entity known as the Dark Presence is trapped within the lake, looking for an escape. The Dark Presence is also able to bring fiction into reality. Zane's lover, Barbara, drowned in the lake, and using the lake's power, Zane wrote her back into existence. Barbara returned changed, possessed by the Dark Presence. Seeing no other way to stop the spread of the presence, Zane used his writings to cause the volcanic eruption that sank their cabin into the lake. Both Zane and Barbara are now trapped in the lake, with Zane being the voice in the light Alan has been hearing.
I hope you're on top of this because I think I'm lost.
This red crack. What are these people smoking?
Over time, the Dark Presence's power has been building until it is now able to possess the townsfolk. The Dark Presence believes that Alan can free it by writing it into existence.
Alan and Barry find a record the old brothers left, which tells Alan to find the Lady of the Light. Balin and Lally get drunk off moonshine and wait for the morning.
Yep.
Why?
During the night, Alan starts to recall memories from the past week. He believed Alice to be dead, and the old woman Barbara appeared before him and convinced him to use the lake's power to write Alice back into existence. Barbara told Alan what to write in order to grow her power, and used Alice as a bargaining chip to coerce Alan. Alan spent the week writing the manuscript, but with the help of Thomas Zane, realized the Dark Presence's ulterior motive. So he decided to write himself into his own manuscript to face Barbara and stop the spread of the Dark Presence. Obviously.
The next morning, Alan and Barry are rudely awoken by the Agent Nightingale pointing a gun in their face. The pair are taken back to the station, probably the safest place for them. At the station, Alan realizes the Lady of the Light is the eccentric woman Cynthia Weaver.
Who the fuck are you?
Suddenly, Agent Nightingale is abducted by the darkness.
And we say bye-bye.
Alan explains to Sarah what is happening, and she agrees to help find Cynthia. Alan, can you explain to me what is happening, please? Cynthia is hiding out at the power plant to protect herself from the darkness. Barely making it to the fire station, the three fly over the power plant. Alan runs off to find Cynthia, while Sarah and Barry stay in the chopper.
Alan meets up with Cynthia, who says they need to head to the well-lit room by the dam. Cynthia was touched by the darkness, like Zane and Alan, back when Barbara died. Ever since then, she has been preparing for the darkness's return. There's a tunnel in the power plant that runs all the way to the dam. However, along the way, Alan receives a call from Barry and Sarah.
Ring, ring, ring.
Mushy mushy.
me!
The pair are still in the chopper, but then they crash, so Alan runs off to find them.
Bye.
Alan saves Sarah and Barry, and the trio make it to the dam and the well-lit room. In the room is the final page in the manuscript, as well as Alan's clicker his mother gave him to ward off darkness. This final page is written by Thomas Zane, and recounts Alan's own childhood memory of the clicker, and that Alan will take the device and jump into the lake. Zane wrote Alan's backstory and the clicker in order to fight the dark presence. I don't know how it fucking works. Stop looking at me like that. I don't understand it either. Shut up.
Alan Wake is fictional?
He was real and he wrote himself into his story, but does that mean that we're in the story? Does that mean that this is now reality because the lake can bring things into reality? But then did Zane write Alan? Does that mean Alan isn't real? Am I real? Are you real?
I'm not real.
Alan goes off by himself and makes it to the cabin. He jumps into the water and is transported to a realm known as the Dark Place. It's a fucking water level.
The Dark Presence tries to control Alan until Thomas Zane in a full diver's outfit appears and saves him. Zane tells Alan to fill Barbara's heart with light. That is the only way to stop the presence.
Fill your dark soul with light!
Alan finally comes face to face with Barbara. She tries one last time to control him, but Alan thrusts his clicker into her chest and switches it on, flooding her with light and sacrificing himself to the dark presence.
I feel like you should probably ask someone before you shove your clicker into their chest. The darkness dissipates from the town as Alice emerges from the lake, looking for Alan. The townsfolk are celebrating. However, many of them have been touched by the darkness and are still scarred from it. Alan, still trapped in the lake, finishes writing the final line of his manuscript. It's not a lake, it's an ocean. That's literally the last line of the entire fucking game. Alright, that's done. That was stupid.